Hi, welcome. I'm just going to do a quick answering some of the questions that I got in from the stories that I just posted. Hi, Becca. Hi. I'm just gonna sew my shoes while chatting with you guys. Here is our first question from GRD08. When did you start ballet? This is a very common question that I get probably every day in my DMs. Thank you guys always for your DMs. But I started dancing when I was 5 years old. And I started in New Jersey because that's where I was raised. I was not born there, but I was raised in New Jersey, and that's where I started at a studio called Irene Fokines in Ridgewood, New Jersey. And sadly, she passed away, but she was actually the niece of Michael Fokine, legendary dancer, choreographer, and so that is the studio that I went to, and I started at 5 years old. Mostly ballet. Yeah, I did a little bit of like jazz and oh, and I also did character dancing as well. Next question from Abby. Do you think that the shape of your feet matters when you apply to a ballet company? I know a lot of times we're always so worried about our feet, right? If we have the right arch, if we don't. Right now, I'm actually taking off the elastics from my old shoes. I always reuse my elastics and ribbons. I don't know if you guys do that, but I like to reuse them as many times as I can until they're like falling apart because you can still use them, you know, and I think it's such a waste to just throw out. Of course, the Pointe shoes die, but the ribbons and elastics you can definitely reuse, and also it's you don't have to spend money buying new ribbons as well. So yes, Abby's question was about feet. If the foot shape matters when you're going to a ballet company. Honestly, I don't. I mean, obviously you want to work on your feet, but that's not. I don't think that's like the deciding factor. You know, obviously if you're the same exact person, you're twins, you look alike, you know, the same exact person and same exact ballet technique, and then one has better feet than the other, like you know, this, you know, banana feet, then maybe she will get the job over the other girl who doesn't have as good of feet. But let's say if you don't really have the amazing, oh my gosh, the ballet arch, but you have artistry, you have technique, you have other things, then, you know, directors will choose that over your feet. It's you as a dancer as a total, as a whole, not just your foot, you know. If it was just your foot, you could be a great foot model. You could be a point shoe model. But yes, I don't think that's like the deciding factor. And this I will not save to IGTV, but I'm gonna be saving it to my Eureka Body YouTube channel, so you can watch it there. Okay, going on to the next question. These are all questions that I'm answering from the stories. Next question. How long have you been on Pointe? I have been on Pointe since I started when I was 8 years old, which is kind of early. This is also a very frequent question that I get. I started at 8 years old, and usually the recommended age by like doctors, like sports doctors, dance doctors, is usually 11 is the youngest. You know, 12, 13-ish is advised. Yeah. I started earlier because at that time my teacher, she thought I was strong and I was ready, and I was the only person that started that early in the studio. So that actually caused up a little bit of problems within the studio with the students, and because the other students who were the same age as me and the same level were kind of like like, I want to do it too, but then the teacher was like, no, you're not ready, you're not strong enough yet, let's wait. But then I guess some of the parents got mad that I was the only one that started, and then the parents talked to the teacher, and then the teacher had to allow all the students who are my age to start, which kind of sucks because 8 is too early, you know? It's like, I would never advise anyone to start too early. I think your bones have to be ready, your technique has to be ready, so many things have to line up before. It's not about how quickly you can go on point, you know what I mean? Yes, okay, next question. How long does it take for your shoes to wear out? My shoes to dye, I'm wearing, well, it depends on the shoe. Right now I'm wearing 2 different types of shoes. One is the Gainers, and then another one is Capizio Phoenix shoe. The Gainers are made of plastic, so they last much, much longer. It's just all about the satin. See, there's plastic, you see the blue coming out. Now this is like too slippery and I can't get wears out of this unless I sew this up. I can sew this and I can get more wears out of it. But usually Gainers will last me, right now, since I can't be dancing in the studios, that's why I haven't been going through shoes like crazy. But back then, when I was like in the studios every day, wearing Pointe every day, like and in rehearsals and stuff like that, then I would go through Gainers. Like, they would last me maybe like a month, maybe. A month and a half-ish. But with the Phoenix shoe, this is like the regular Pointe shoe that's not made from plastic, so this will last me, you know, not even 2 weeks maybe. Yes. If not dancing, what would you do for a living? What would you guys do for a living if it was not dancing? I really want to get into more acting, so that's definitely a big goal of mine. I want to continue creating, and I actually have a very interesting career, and I left dancing for a really long while. And in that period, actually, I had so many different kinds of jobs that were not pertaining to dance. I already kind of experienced the not ballet version of me, which is really crazy because that's the opposite of what usual dancers do. Usually dancers are like, you know, you gotta get it in while you're young, and that's you know, that's the, as you should, you know. But I was going through a lot of things, like personal things, which I will share in the future, and I was just not in a good place for dancing anymore. So I left it for a while, and I went back to Japan. I did start teaching. I was teaching full time, and then I was also working at a, I burned it. I was also working at a hotel, at like the concierge, because I could speak English, and in Japan they really were like, oh, I was working at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, which is a great hotel, and they were like, oh, we need English speakers because we have a lot of international guests. And yeah, it was a super strict, formal environment, super hardcore. Like, oh my gosh, I was like, I first applied and for that job thinking that I could, you know, maybe take some ballet classes here and there after I went to work. But literally it just wore me out, and like I had no energy after work to take a ballet class. And I would come back home, I would kind of crash, fall asleep, and in the middle of the night wake up and be like, oh, I need to do a little bit of ballet. And then I would give myself a ballet bar, kind of like what we were doing in the pandemic. I would be dancing at home in my house, in my little space, because I was like, I still want to dance. But I didn't have the money, I didn't have the time to be going to ballet classes, and So that was huge for me. It was a really hard time, but I learned a lot, and it made me stronger. And then when this pandemic hit, I was like, I already know how to do this. I already did this. I already, had to go through so many years of not having a space, not having the money, because it like with my level, like where I was living, it was more like studios for younger dancers, like super young, like not professional dancers. So I had to take the train 2.5 hours to go to a studio that had enough like professional training, and of course that cost money, and I wasn't gonna ask my parents for it, so I had to use it was like you had to make money to get go on a train 2.5 hours, and then one class in Japan, no lies, is like $30, one class in Japan. So I know here it's like Broadway Dance Center is like, it's like $18 or something like that, maybe. And I was like, oh my god, $30 for a class? Oh my god. And then when you first start working, you know how tough it is to even get $30. You have to work like literally almost 3 hours to get $30. And that's like half of your day, of 1/3 of your day of working, plus transportation going there and back was like $30. That's like $60 to take a ballet class. It's like it was such a tough time, and I didn't have the money and time to do that. So I was like, okay, let me just give myself a ballet class at home. So in the middle of the night, I would just kind of play something, and then give myself a bar, go to sleep, go to work the next day. And I learned a lot from that experience. Yeah. I appreciate that. I'm just getting back from a long break, and it can feel like an uphill battle sometimes, but so grateful to be back dancing. Yeah, for sure. And then when you experience things like that, I think it just it just solidifies your love and passion for dancing even more. And you want it that much more. You appreciate it that much more. So even though at that time I thought I was taking a detour, at the end of it, I was able to connect the dots and circle back to dancing. And now I'm so happy, to be back dancing again. And yeah, so excited for more. What do I do when I feel like everyone is getting better except me? This is probably a lot of a very common feeling that we get. Sometimes, we feel like we're the worst one in the room, we're not improving. And that's a lot of times we do that because we start comparing ourselves. I think in my previous Instagram live, I was talking about, the importance of watching people in the class and learning from them. But there's a difference between watching someone and learning, and then watching someone and comparing yourself and getting defeated by that. That's a completely different watching. You watching in a way where you're watching and judging and comparing is completely different than watching with how can I get better? How can I approach this? And it's you have to be always in a constant learning and attack mode, instead of like retreat mode. The moment you start talking badly, negatively about yourself, stop, because that's going to become a habit. Yeah, the first couple times it'll feel good, it'll feel cool, it'll feel, for me, I know it felt cool. I don't know if you I don't know if you understand what I'm saying here, but sometimes you're like, oh, it's cool to kind of be like, oh no, I like, you feel like you're getting sympathy from other people by telling people that you're not good enough, you're not skinny enough, and you're not like all this stuff, right? And it's like, oh, feel bad for me, feel bad with me. But then that becomes a habit, guys. And then that becomes who you are, even though that's not really who you are. So the moment you start thinking like that, I would just say, try to pick it up and try to be like, nope, not today. I will not suffer. I will not allow myself to fall and believe that I suck today. Of course, we're all in progress. You're never going to be perfect. We're always learning. But I think that in that moment it's hard. And you're not always going to be able to do it, but try to pick yourself up. Start taking action the moment you start feeling negatively about yourself. Oh, that goes to this one. Tips for motivation. Which is really interesting. I think we feel motivated when we work hard. They go hand in hand. When we're not working hard, we can't feel that motivation. You can't feel that motivation, so that's why you don't work hard. And it becomes a cycle. When you're working hard, when things are going well, then you feel motivated for some reason. You're like, oh yeah, let's keep going. I want this, I want that. When you get that clean double pirouette that day, you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. Let's go for the triple. Super motivated. I'm gonna go home and stretch and do this and that and that. But then the tough times are when you're not on your leg, when you're not, feeling good, when you're not when you're feeling tired, whatever it is, like, oh, maybe you had just had a bad day at school, maybe you just had a bad turning day. The slightest things, if that affects you and that takes away from your motivation, you have to go to dedication. You have to be like, okay, my goal is whether it's like I want to go pro, right? I want to be in a company, or I want to make it into commercial dancing. Whatever it is your goal is, I want to be like this kind of, I want to be an actor, I want to do this. Like whatever your goal is, you have to take those everyday steps to get there, right? And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I definitely of course I've been defeated by not having motivation some days too, but I have learned about myself that whenever I was complaining about not being motivated, that was a time when I was not putting in the actual work. When I started actually putting in the work, I started, you just develop motivation because you're working. So yeah, put yourself on a schedule. If you don't feel like it and you don't do it, then that means, okay, you're not gonna get better then. Suck it up then. Like, if you want to get better, if you want to improve, take the class, do the stretch, do the plank, do the extra work, go to sleep early, whatever it is, If you decide to do something, do it. Don't make excuses for yourself saying, oh, I'm tired, oh, I'm on my period, so I couldn't do this. Yeah, because it's all in the mind. Because if you had a good day but you were still tired and you were on your period, I bet you would not be tired anymore. It's all in the mind. It's you're allowing yourself to be tired. So I would say just stop complaining and do it. Yeah, real talk though, you know, it's like, you know, complaining doesn't get us anywhere. Yeah. Okay. Next question. I didn't see this. Not a question, but I absolutely love your voice. Weird, but it's so relaxing. That's so funny because because like a few weeks ago I saw a comment on my TikTok and someone was like, sorry guys. Um someone on my TikTok was like, I hate her voice. And she tagged her friend. She was like, I hate her voice, it's so annoying, or something like that. I was like, oh, you know, I read the comments. Like, I didn't comment back, of course. Like, all I hate comments, I'm not gonna give energy back, but. This one. How old were you when you realized you wanted to dance professionally? I realized I wanted to dance professionally pretty early. I think I just said that I started at 5 years old, right? And I think I was probably like 6 or 7. I already knew. I didn't know what it took to be a professional. I didn't know what that meant, but I just knew that I wanted to be amazing at it. I just knew I wanted to win because I was so competitive, guys. So competitive. Like in my class, if I was not the first person that got the combination, if I was not the first person, if I was not the lead, I would get so pissed. So pissed. I was scary, guys. I was scary. If you went to school with me, you know. I was I just like could not take not getting a principal role. I could not. I don't know if any of you guys also are like that, but I'm just super competitive. And yeah, from when I was like 6 or 7, I was like, I really want to be great at this. I really want to be amazing at doing ballet, and dance in general. And yeah. And I just got more serious about it. Okay, so here we go. What time is it right now? 8:40. Okay, maybe a few more questions. What is a good schedule to have to stretch? I dance 4 or 5 days a week, so I'm not sure. How much do you guys stretch? Please do not make the mistake like me where you're stretching 3 hours before class and 3 hours after class, and that's crazy. That's too much. You don't want to overstretch, but you don't want to understretch. See, that competitive mindset that I had, I was like, if I stretch 3 hours before class and 3 hours after class, and if I sleep in a split, then I shall be the best dancer in the world. That was my way of thinking. And obviously, I got injured by doing that. Like, my hips were like, you know, no. So don't do that, guys. I would say if you're holding like a straddle position, a split position, whatever stretch position, hold it for 60 seconds and then go to another position and then go to another position and then come back to it. Yeah, so don't hold it for more than a minute. So maybe do front split minute, side split minute, left split minute, and then go back again, front, side, front, like right, center, left, something like that. And depending on your schedule, you know, I would definitely carve out 30 minutes of your day to stretch after class at night, at the end of the day. Before class, I would do stretching, but also more strengthening stuff. I hope you saw the foot stretch and strengthening. That's also great to do before class. You should do that every day, definitely, for sure. Stretch for a tiny bit before class and twice a week, but definitely not much as I should. Yeah, every day. It has to happen every day. If you're serious about dancing, I would stretch every day. Honestly, you know, it's like, and once you make it a habit, like a part of your routine, it should just, making it a habit is difficult in the beginning, But same thing, circling back to dedication. Yeah, a lot of people message me and ask me, oh, where do I find the motivation to stretch? If you don't have the motivation to stretch, where's your dedication to stretch? If you're serious about getting better, you need the dedication. Yeah, real talk. Not trying to be mean, not trying to be, but honestly, guys, if you want to make it, it takes a lot of work. It's of course, I'm all about love. I'm all about body image. I'm all about that. But I'm also all about working as well, working hard. And if you're not about working hard, then you're only going to improve so much. Yeah. Every day, it's about pushing yourself, pushing your limits, pushing your, obviously not hurting yourself, but pushing your boundaries, your limits, for sure. Loved your stretch and strengthening live yesterday. Amazing. So happy that you liked it. You can go back to the video as many times as you want because it's on YouTube now, and I edited the in-between stuff where I'm like kind of setting up the camera or just saying hi and stuff, so I made it shorter, a little bit more compact. So go back to it, do it as in the beginning. I would, even if you already know what we worked on, the little exercises, I would do it with the video so then you can grasp and absorb the energy of what I'm talking about. Because you're working with little intricate details of your feet. So many times we get a correction, we get an exercise, and we lose the true essence of the work that is involved in the exercises. You're doing the exercises, but you're not grasping the true essence of how to work in the exercises. Does that make sense? I know you're a smart dancer, so I'm sure it makes sense. But go back to the video, and doing it with the video will give you that feeling of how to work. And once you have that, a few times. For me, maybe it might take me 3 to 10 times to actually, I'll rewatch a lot of stuff. If something I think is a really great class, I'll rewatch it multiple times, and not just be like, oh, I already did that one, next. Yeah, you did it, but did you really do it? Do you understand it? Do you fully comprehend it? And so that's the way I would say to work for stuff like that. And I will have more stretch and strengthening classes and up on my YouTube channel, so make sure you follow. And maybe I'll go to the last question. Are some girls just born to be ballerinas, like have specific body types and natural turnout? What do you think, guys? Yeah, I mean, the ballet world is shifting, of course, but yes, of course, there is a body in ballet that's like turnout, super long, lean legs, amazing extensions, the hyper extensions. Like sometimes girls just and guys naturally have those things. I remember when I was a student, I was so frustrated because I was not that girl. I did not have hyperextended, legs, and I was always the short one, always kind of like, you feel like it's not fair, right? But also I was kind of like excited with the fact that a lot of teachers were like, oh, it's not for you, it's not for your body type. And for me, I was kind of like middle finger, like I was like, who are you to say that to me? Like, I decide if I want to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the first ballerina who is short and doesn't have the ballet body. I will show you. That was kind of my mentality, and I think that you kind of, to a certain extent, need to have that when if you're trying to do it like to go like pro, you know, like whatever people say, you know, don't be like, oh, okay, like she said I couldn't do it, so be like, no, work hard for it. You can still do it, you know. Don't let other people's voices sway your true inner feelings. Just like that, my shoes are done. Ta-da! I don't put ribbons on my shoes because it makes my arch look better. Unless it's like for a specific classical ballet performance where I need to put ribbons on. I usually do more like neo stuff, or like more contemporary stuff, or more like photo shoots and stuff, and I don't need to put ribbons on, so I just have the elastics on my shoes. If you can see all my like photos and posts, you will see that. And I'm done. Yes, definitely, Abby. It's about the work you do, for sure. And with that, having said that, you're going to stretch every day. Yeah? Thank you so much for your hearts, guys, and thank you for joining. I will see you. Oh, keep on doing this, yeah? Q&A lives and stuff, and we'll keep on chatting. Thank you.